Hi, I'm April Hinkle, the Chief Revenue Officer here at the Texas Tribune. Welcome to Texas and welcome to our offices as well. I'm sorry that I'm not able to be here with you, especially because I know that we've talked via the phone, some of you, and had email exchanges, and I'm sorry that I'm not able to meet with you personally. I love when media organizations visit the Texas Tribune because it gives me the opportunity to kind of reflect back on our best practices and kind of what I really want the takeaway to be. We're missing out on the conversation, but know that I'm available for follow-up, and I will leave my business cards with Rodney, and feel free to contact me at any time. So I think that the big takeaways that I would want for you is a couple of things that really kind of explain or unlock the secrets of our corporate revenue success. And the first one is about how you approach working with sponsors and advertisers directly. The one thing here at the Texas Tribune is that we never want any of our sponsors to buy media directly from our kit. We always want to have a conversation. It's critical because that way that we can understand their initiatives, their goals, their target audiences, the timeline, and their budget. And this gives us the opportunity to really reflect back on what their strategic needs are and how we utilize Tribune assets across all areas of our business to build these really strong programs. We build better partnerships that way for long-term success and also greater return on investment for them. A couple of things. One is a lot of times in these discussions, they may not know really what their spend is with us. And so sometimes they'll say, will you build a $50,000 package? Will you build a $25,000 one? And build a $10,000? And I just quite frankly say no. And here's why. Because if I were to come in and do that, I'm actually editing the program for them. I would rather build the largest, best possible program based on the information that I have on that day. So I always go for the highest revenue level. And then they'll look at it, we'll walk through everything, and if they need to make adjustments, say they come back and they say, we love this plan, but we really only have $30,000. Then I, in turn, incorporate them in the process of editing that program based on their own priorities and what they need. And that way, again, we're building a stronger, better program for them. Another thing, too, is every now and then I'll get a call, a lot of times from agencies, and they'll say, we're interested in investing in your email opportunities. And I say, great. Again, that's just the start of a conversation, and we fall back to the same philosophy. What's the goal, the initiatives, the timeline, the target audience, and the budget? Because a lot of times what I'll learn in that conversation is that they really need more than just an email strategy, even if in the end, they tell me that's all they want to invest in. I'll still build it back into a partnership program and offer added value elements that really make it more comprehensive and a better opportunity for overall success. Now, Rodney tells me, I think that he surveyed a lot of the people that are here today and that y'all are super interested in how we monetize editorial events. And I have to tell you, that has been one of the most rewarding and creative opportunities here at the Texas Tribune. And the reason being is it gives us an opportunity to really place brands in the Texas landscape. So what we've learned, and believe you me, I'm sure you probably already talked to the events team, we produce and present about 50 events on average each year, plus the big Texas Tribune Festival. And what I've learned is that sponsors come to our events all with a different purpose. And so my goal is really to understand what that is. In advance of these conversations, we've already crafted and created general benefits that are amazing. And if that's all the sponsor wants, peace, because they're good and they'll support the investment. But beyond that, where we want to put our time and our muscle, again, is back to purpose and understanding what they need to accomplish. So we're looking at product and brand intersection and also what we want the takeaway to be. The opportunity to create custom comprehensive programs is amazing because it does give us the opportunity to bring together different Texas Tribune advertising and marketing elements. And by creating these more comprehensive programs, I really believe that our sponsors receive more for their investment. A lot of times they may not really understand all of the different opportunities that we offer them, but by putting them together in an outline that kind of showcases how different elements really reinforce to create a greater message in the marketplace. Sometimes they just have to trust us, and then once we get into it, they realize that the bundling opportunity is really much greater than just buying products a la carte. One other thing that you have to understand from the very start is where's the line between really editorial and business. And you have to understand exactly where that is, and you never want to cross it. And it's easier to manage your sponsor's expectations up front. And what I mean by that is state clearly that while we love the fact that they're supporting this event or this editorial project, that they really have no say in the direction of the project, the selection of panelists, the topics discussed, that they're really there just to support our great work. And again, it's up to us to frame, right, that editorial or that program with different brand elements that connect them to it but really never cross over. So I think it's really important in a partnership to keep open communication. And while we're all busy and suffer from time poverty, there are certain things that we want to be very clear about. And sometimes it's even up to the sponsor to decide. So if we're running a site program, for example, we run everything through an independent server, a third-party server. And so I tell them in reporting, our fallback are two reports. They will receive a monthly report and also an end of campaign report. If they want, we can set it up in the serving system where they deliver a daily report, a weekly report, a monthly report. And what happens is they get really excited about the daily report or the weekly report, and then after about a week, they contact me and say, let's just fall back on your plan. But I think, too, being a news organization, a lot of times we don't know what projects and really what's going to happen and what's going to be coming at us. And so that's why we always have to understand what the initiatives of the program are, because if I'm in a meeting and I hear that we're about to launch a project that is not in the original plan, then we want to stay in communication to come back to the client and say, I've just learned that we're going to be covering this, or there's an event slated on that. And it's where we can together look at creating an adjustment in that overall program. So we want to stay in pretty constant communication. One other thing, too, is that you can use your own newsroom to do this. In fact, I just crossed our night editor and thanked him because I'm included on his night notes. And one of the things that he reported to the editorial team last night was just a collection of different clips. One of them was the fact that the Alamo College system in San Antonio's graduation percentage completions led the state, and it had increased by a certain percentage. Right? So I saw that, and what better opportunity do I have to congratulate the people at the San Antonio Community College system, but also I work with the Texas Association of Community Colleges, and so that gave me an opportunity to say, attaway and congratulations. It has nothing to do with their advertising and marketing relationship with the Tribune, but what it shows is that I care and that I am looking out for them always, and I want to be an extension of their team and of their marketing team. And so it just kind of helps build in terms of communication. So it doesn't always have to be about a report or something specific. It can just be something that's important to them as well. So as you know, the Texas Tribune turns 10 next month, and we're super excited about that anniversary moment. In some ways, I feel like we have products that have great reach. For example, in 2018, the Texas Tribune averaged 2.18 million individuals coming to the site every 30 days. There are other products that make sense for overall programs that may not have the same numbers. And a lot of times, too, if they're looking at different opportunities just based on a cost per thousand basis, we're never going to receive the revenue to offset that. And so instead of trying to do everything on a cost per thousand or talking about having the biggest audience, a lot of times it's really that they're looking for the best audience. And so don't be afraid, for example, if this email only offers 660 opt-in recipients, that may be the exact audience that they're looking for, and they're willing to invest in it. And again, going back to what we were talking about before with comprehensive programs, you don't have to line item everything. You can show the overall value of a program, and that speaks a lot without having to kind of just get into the weeds. And most of the time, they understand the total value of the quality and the quality of the work versus just the quantity of the recipient. Yes. So the Texas Tribune is very different from traditional media organizations. In my past life, when everything was consumer facing, we entered traditional doors. Departments of advertising, marketing. Here, it's a little different approach. I find myself really seeking out public affairs, community relations, PR, government relations to really enter and start the conversations. Because that's really the world that we live in. And there's a lot of brands that are afraid of policy and politics, or will just see the word politics and say, no, we're not having any of that. So by coming in a different door, we're able to completely connect in a world that is similar to ours. And in a perfect world, we'll build that relationship, and then we'll have the opportunity to be introduced to an advertising or a marketing team, really where the bigger funds are kept. This year at the Texas Tribune Festival, Open Congress, which is a free festival within our festival, open to the public, free to attend, was presented this year by PepsiCo. And we've worked with PepsiCo for years at a smaller revenue amount, really focused on policy and politics. But we had the opportunity, once building a relationship with that government relations team, to be introduced to the global marketing staff. And so this year, they presented the Open Congress at the Texas Tribune Festival. And their investment went from a festival one of $15,000 a year to one now of $100,000. So you can see the difference in the offerings within just a government relations team budget and the beauty of moving to really more into a traditional advertising marketing relationship as well. The opportunity to work with development and work with Terry Quinn, our development chief, has been an evolution. Originally, we would visit back and forth, but it wasn't until recently where we realized that foundations were investing and commissioning reports and research and had all of this wonderful information that we realized they were a great resource, and our audience would, and the overall site experience would be enhanced with this information. And so we started going on a few meetings together and having conversations, and a lot of times it may even have been then after a grant was found, but then Terry saw a way to really enhance the relationship by offering them messaging and marketing programs. And so she introduced me, we worked together, and it's been great. And sometimes it's even working the other way, where I might have the opportunity to create a messaging program for a foundation and build the relationship with the Tribune that way. And then Terry enters based on her knowledge of what that foundation is about and how they could possibly fund the Tribune as well. And so it's become really a great partnership working together to really enhance all of these relationships. I love sponsor content because it gives a larger page for our sponsors to communicate very complicated issues, or ones in which they have rich media that really supports the communication that they are delivering to our audience. And it's a great creative opportunity for them, and it's really helping kind of enhance as we create more and more custom programs to be able for each and every one of these sponsors to really tell a chapter of their story. So I remember my first day at the Texas Tribune. It was June 10th of 2010. And on my very first day, they locked me in a room with the head of art and also the head of engineering. And we put the Texas Tribune site up on the wall. There were no ad banners, there was no sponsor messaging, there really wasn't anything. And so we had the opportunity literally to look at the site anew. And we wanted to, first of all, use IAB standard ad units, but we wanted to position these where they wouldn't compete with the content, but the ads would really complement them and would give us an opportunity to kind of create a greater resource than just the featured content. And so we started slowly, which was really great. And it wasn't until Mark Miller, who was the editor of the Tribune at the time, who had come from Newsweek, came in my office and said, "Hey, why don't you have banners within the stories?" And I'm like, "I can do that?" And he's like, "Yes." And I'm like, "Great." And it really kind of gave us the opportunity, right, to continue to think about how we're positioning our sponsors and enhance the whole site experience. And then now, as we were talking about placement beyond, so it could be a project that is presented by, or we're talking about right now even doing sponsored comments. So that's kind of our next placement, but really kind of looking at what you have and how you can monetize it. And I think it's fun. I think don't make it too hard. I think the main thing too is we've kind of set different goals. We've made it up as we went along, which doesn't really make any sense at all. But we're really ambitious, and it seems like every single time we set a new goal, we make it. And I think it's just this whole opportunity of really kind of believing in the opportunity and the possibilities, and the fact that, you know what, if it doesn't work, I mean, you can always learn from it and then move forward with something else. And so, yeah, I think way back when we had to build a media kit, and in fact, I think I sold the first ad campaign to the comptroller's office about 2 months before we could deliver it on the site. So I think back about those early days and I kind of wonder, wow, you know, that was us then and look at us now. But it's been a really amazing, fun process. So thanks for coming today. Again, I'm sorry that I didn't have the opportunity to visit with you personally, but I hope you enjoy your time here. Thank you.